You are planning Studienkolleg in Germany. Whether you are just starting to research or already confused after 20 tabs, this is the only video you need to watch. Because the next 49 minutes I'm covering everything. Eligibility, course selection, public versus private, German requirement, application routes, Uni-assist, WPD, direct portals, all of it. Documents, Aufnahmetest preparation, summer and winter timelines, visa, block account, housing cost, FSP, and the mistakes that delay students by a full semester or a full year, A to Z, in the correct order in one place. Now I know 49 minutes sounds long, but first hear this one fact. Most students spend 3, 4, sometimes 6 months jumping between YouTube videos, Reddit threads, university websites, and WhatsApp groups, still not sure what their actual next step is. This video will 100% help you if you are serious about your future in Germany. And if you know already some parts of this process, no problem. I have divided the entire video into chapters. You will find them in the description. Jump directly to whatever section you need. Course selection, visa, Aufnahmetest preparation, anything. Come back whenever you need to reference something specific. But if you are serious about Studienkolleg or you are not sure yet which direction is right for you, watch this video start to finish at least once. Because the most common but expensive mistakes students make are not in the complicated parts. They are in the parts that seem simple, the parts people usually skip. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm Sarab. I came to Germany in 2018 and today I'm a settled German citizen, and through this channel I help people achieve the same in much faster and easier way. This video is for international students who want to study a bachelor's degree in Germany and who may need to go through Studienkolleg to get there. The goal is the bachelor's. Studienkolleg is just one part of the path. The full process works for students from any country. Where your specific country creates an additional requirement, India, China, Vietnam for APS for example, I will flag it clearly when we get there. By the end, you will know exactly what your next step is, based on your country, your qualification, and your target degree. This is what the next 47 minutes are built for. Let's go. Let me start by removing the 3 biggest misunderstandings. Number 1. Studienkolleg is a bachelor degree. No. Number 2. Studienkolleg means guaranteed admission into any German university. Also no. Third. Studienkolleg is just a German language course. Still no. Studienkolleg is a preparatory course, a bridge before your bachelor's degree. It is for students whose school leaving certificates allow them to study in their home country, but it is considered not fully equivalent to the German Abitur for direct university admission in Germany. During Studienkolleg, you study German plus subject-related academic content in your chosen track. At the end, you take the Feststellungsprüfung, usually called the FSP. If you pass, you receive a subject-specific higher education entrance qualification for Germany. Subject-specific. That is the word very important here, and I will come back to it several times. But before we go any further, the most important question is actually not what is Studienkolleg. The most important question is, do you even need it? Because if you don't understand this, you can plan the wrong thing for next 6 months. Let me explain clearly. Do you actually need Studienkolleg? Because not every international student does. When Germany evaluates your school qualification, there are usually 3 possible outcomes. Number 1, direct admission. Your school certificate is accepted for direct bachelor's admission. In that case, you may not need Studienkolleg at all. You can apply directly to bachelor's programs depending on language, grades, deadlines, and the program requirement. Outcome number 2, Studienkolleg required. Your school certificate is not enough for direct entry, but you are eligible for Studienkolleg. You complete Studienkolleg, pass the FSP, and then apply for bachelor's. Outcome number 3, you are not yet eligible. This is the most uncomfortable one. Sometimes a student is not eligible for direct admission or Studienkolleg. In that case, additional academic study in the home country, a different pathway, or another verified route may be required. And this is exactly why you should not blindly follow Instagram reels or random forum comment that says everyone after school can go to Studienkolleg. It depends on your country, your school board, your specific subject, your grades, and the evaluation rules used by German institutions. In a moment, I will tell you exactly where and how to check this officially. But first, understand this. Even before eligibility, there is one decision most students make in the wrong order, and it is responsible for more delays than almost anything else. We'll come to that in the Bachelor's and Course section. First, let's make sure you know how to verify eligibility correctly. First, the Uni-assist check, University Admission Tool. This gives an orientation based on your country and certificate. The pattern you will see is this. The tool will tell you whether your qualification maps to the direct admission, Studienkolleg, or something else. It is not always the final answer, but it is a reliable starting point. You can find it on uni-assist.de. Second, Unabin. This is the official German database used for evaluating foreign education qualification. The pattern here is search your country, then look for a specific school type and certificate. Sadly, it is not the most user-friendly website, but it shows you how Germany official classifies your qualification. You can find it at anabin.kmk.org. Third, the target Studienkolleg or university directly. If the journal rules say one thing, the institution may have additional requirements, different language levels, different documents, different deadlines, different portals. Their official Bewerbung or application page is where 80% of your specific questions get answered. Studienkolleg is not one step, it is a chain. Eligibility check, target bachelor subject, correct Studienkolleg course, German language certificate, country-specific requirements, APS if applicable, application route, university and Studienkolleg shortlist, documents, Aufnahmetest or entrance exam, admission, visa and block account, housing, 1 year of Studienkolleg, Feststellungsprüfung or FSP, bachelor's application. If one link breaks, the whole plan gets delayed. At this point, you should not ask yourself which Studienkolleg should I choose. Instead, you should be asking what bachelor degree do I actually want after Studienkolleg? Because the Studienkolleg course you choose is determined by your future's bachelor's field, not the other way around. Here is a general mapping. But do not treat this table as a guaranteed answer for every university. Some subjects are genuinely tricky to place, like political science, psychology, architecture, design, data science, social sciences. These may not always fall exactly where you expect. The safest approach, choose your target bachelor's program first. Then check which Studienkolleg course that university requires for that specific subject. Then shortlist Studienkollegs offering that course. So it's better to work backwards from bachelor's and not guessing forward from the course. Now once you know your course, there is another layer most students completely miss. It is about which type of institution is running the Studienkolleg, and it can change which bachelor's doors are open to you afterwards. There are Studienkollegs connected to universities called classical research universities, and there are Studienkollegs connected to universities of applied sciences called Fachhochschulen or Hochschulen für angewandte Wissenschaften. University Studienkollegs prepare students for academic university study. According to the Studienkollegs Consortium, if you pass the final exam at the University Studienkolleg, you can apply to a university or to a university of applied sciences. Fachhochschulen Studienkollegs prepare students for universities of applied sciences, more practical, more industry-oriented. And this distinction matters. If you pass the final exam at a Studienkolleg connected to a university of applied sciences, you are usually qualified for universities of applied sciences, not classical universities. The course names are sometimes different also. In Fachhochschulen system, instead of T-Kurs, you may see T-Kurs. Instead of W-Kurs, you may see W-Kurs. Some have G-Kurs for designs or S-Kurs for social work. So don't choose Fachhochschulen or University Studienkolleg casually. This is one of the decisions that is very hard to undo mid-process. Make it consciously at the start. Public Studienkollegs are state-run. Tuition is generally free. You still pay a semester contribution, usually a few €100, and you still need money for rent, food, health insurance, transport, and everyday life, but no tuition. The catch: public Studienkollegs are very competitive. Many students want these places. Seats are limited. Most use an entrance exam, the Aufnahmetest, as the main filter. Private Studienkollegs can be faster to enter, more flexible with intake dates, and sometimes easier to access, but they cost money, often significantly higher. And the most important thing I want you to hear about private Studienkollegs You must verify recognition before you pay a single euro. I have heard from students who paid full fees, completed a private Studienkolleg, and then discovered that the specific universities they wanted to attend did not fully recognize the final certificate. That situation is devastating, and it was preventable. So before choosing any private Studienkolleg, ask these exact questions. Is the FSP state recognized? Is the certificate accepted beyond just one institution? Can I apply to public universities with this certificate later? Which public universities have accepted graduates from this Studienkolleg before? Can you give me the names? What happens if I fail the FSP? Is there a repeat option? What are the total fees including any hidden exam fees? What is a refund policy if I need to leave? What visa support documents do they provide? If any of these questions are avoided or answered vaguely, treat that as serious warning sign. Now, whether public or private, there is one factor that determines more outcomes than almost any other. It is not your grades, it is not your document. It is something most students underestimate until it is too late. German. Studienkollegs is taught in German, not in English, not with English support, in German totally. This means even if your long-term dream is an English-taught bachelor's program, Studienkolleg itself requires German. And this is where many students get confused. They say, but Sarab, I want an English-taught bachelor's degree in Germany. Why should I learn German? And here's the answer. If your school certificate gives you admission to German bachelor studies, then yes, you can search for English-taught bachelor's program and apply directly, depending on the program requirements. But if your school certificate does not give you direct admission and the Germany says you need Studienkolleg first, then choosing an English-taught bachelor's later does not automatically remove the German requirement. Because Studienkolleg itself is normally taught in German. So your real question is not, can I study bachelor's in English? Your real question is, can I qualify for direct admission without Studienkolleg? If yes, then you can target English-taught bachelor's program. If no, then German becomes part of the pathway because the Studienkolleg bridge is in German. There may be private foundations or alternative routes advertised in English, but be very careful here. Before paying anything, verify whether the route is officially recognized and whether it actually gives access to the bachelor's program you want later. Do not buy an English shortcut without checking the final recognition. So the rule is simple. If you are directly eligible, you can search English bachelor's program. If you need Studienkolleg, German is usually part of the route. Now, students often ask, is B1 enough or is B2 enough? And here's the honest answer. It depends on the Studienkolleg. The general minimum mentioned by the Studienkollegs consortium is B1 German at the time of application, but they also clearly say you must check the exact language requirement with your chosen Studienkolleg. Some institutions may require more than B1, for example B2, and even where B1 is accepted informally, the classes and exam are still in German. But this is where I need you to understand something deeper. Your certificates open the door. Your actual German ability determines what happens inside. These are not the same thing. A certificate can say B1, but the teacher will speak in German. The math problems will be in German. The physics explanation will be in German. The exam instruction will be in German. Your answers may need to be written in academic German. That's why if your target Studienkolleg asks for B1, still build toward B2 ability, not just B2 certificate. If it asks for B2, don't stop at certificate level. Build reading, comprehension, academic writing, listening under pressure, and subject-specific vocabulary. Now let's talk about APS and country-specific requirement. This does not apply to every student, but for some countries, it is non-negotiable. APS, the Academic Evaluation Center, exists for students from countries including India, China, and Vietnam. It checks the authenticity of your academic documents and educational background. And to be clear here, APS is not admission. APS is just verification. The university or Studienkolleg still makes the actual admission decision. For Indian students specifically, there is an important update for 2027. From winter semester 2026-27 onward, updated criteria require a minimum overall score of 70% in class 12th for the Studienkolleg pathway. So if you are from India and planning Studienkolleg for 2027, check your percentage first. Check your APS eligibility and check the latest official criteria because these details can update. For students from other countries, don't copy another country's process. Your documents, evaluation rules, and additional requirement may be completely different. This is where many well-prepared students still make a serious mistake. Do not assume every Studienkolleg application go through Uni-assist. The Studienkollegs consortium itself says admission procedures and dates differ strongly from Studienkolleg to Studienkolleg. Some applications go through Uni-assist, some go through the university's own portal, some allow direct application to the Studienkolleg, some have a Studienkolleg specific process that is completely separate from both. And sometimes, even if a university uses Uni-assist for normal bachelor's application, Studienkolleg may have a different procedure entirely. Here's the pattern to follow. Choose your target bachelor's field. Identify the needed Studienkolleg course. Shortlist Studienkollegs offering that course. For each one, open the official Bewerbung or application page. Write down these 6 things: application portal, deadline, required German level, documents needed, entrance exam subjects and exam date, recognition of the final FSP certificate. That one page will answer 80% of your questions, and that spreadsheet of 6 columns will save your entire process. Let's talk about VPD, because this creates genuine confusion for a lot of students. First, what is VPD? VPD stands for Vorprüfungsdokumentation, preliminary review documentation. Think of it like this: Uni-assist checks your foreign academic documents and creates a preliminary evaluation document for the university. It summarizes how your documents are assessed for that university's application process. Important, it is not a translation of your documents. If certified translations are required, that is a separate document requirement. Now, the confusion. VPD is not automatically required for every Studienkolleg application. Some universities require VPD for a bachelor's application later. Some do not require VPD for Studienkolleg itself. Some use Uni-assist directly. Some have a completely different process. So 2 wrong statements that students repeat are: Studienkollegs always mean VPD. VPD is never needed for Studienkolleg. Both are wrong. The correct sentence is: VPD depends on the university, the stage of application, and the specific application route for that institution. If your target university says you need VPD, apply early. Processing takes time and it cannot be rushed. If they say you don't need VPD for Studienkolleg, don't create unnecessary steps. Read the official page. Follow exactly what it exactly says. Now, before we go to documents and timeline, I want to answer a very common question. Where do I actually find the Studienkollegs in Germany? Many students start only with DAD or random Google searches. DAD is useful for orientation, but for Studienkolleg shortlisting, the better starting point is the official register of the German Studienkollegs. You can find the link in the description of the video and download the PDF containing the complete list of Studienkollegs in Germany. This register gives you the name of the Studienkolleg, the federal state, city, status, offered courses, website, and contact details. So here's how I want you to use it. First, open the official list of German Studienkollegs. Copy the details into Excel format. Second, filter by required course T, M, W, G, S, TI, WW, SW depending on your target pathway. Third, check whether it is university linked, FH linked, state run, state recognized, or private. Fourth, open the official website of that Studienkolleg or the university. Fifth, verify the latest application deadline, German requirement, entrance exam subjects, and application route. And yes, if the information is not clear, contact the Studienkolleg directly using the official contact email from the register or from the institution's website. But do not email them vague questions like, "Can I study in Germany?" Email them specific questions. "I want to apply for T-Kurs for winter 2027. My target bachelor's is computer science. Could you please confirm the application route, German certificate requirement, and the Aufnahmetest subjects for the upcoming intake?" That kind of email gets a much better answer. Now let's talk about how to shortlist properly. Here's the exact order. First, your target bachelor's degree. For example, mechanical engineering, computer science, medicine, business administration, economics, political science. Second, the required Studienkolleg course, T-Kurs, M-Kurs, W-Kurs, G-Kurs, or S-Kurs. Third, the type of institution, university route or Fachhochschulen route, or both depending on the future bachelor's plan. Fourth, the application route, Uni-assist, university portal, or direct Studienkolleg process. Fifth, the deadline and entrance exam date. Sixth, German requirement and Aufnahmetest subjects. 7th, city reality like rent, housing, student dorms, and visa timings. Good news for you, I have already prepared a free Studienkolleg 2027 shortlist and timeline Excel template. Use it to track your target Studienkollegs, course, deadlines, application route, German level, Aufnahmetest subjects, VPD or APS status, housing risk, and next action. Don't keep this process in your head, put it in the system. This spreadsheet is not boring admin work. This is your control room, because once you put everything side by side, you stop guessing. You can immediately see this option is too expensive. This one has the wrong course. This one has an earlier deadline. This one needs B2. This one has a specific entrance exam subject. This one is private, so I need recognition proof before paying. And please remember, deadlines are not universal. Your spreadsheet must use the official deadline for each institution, not one general date from the internet. Now let's build your document checklist, and please note that every institution has its own checklist. Some want certified copies, some accept scan uploads first, some require documents in German or English, some have strict translation rules, some ask for originals by post at the later stage. So don't just prepare a folder called Germany documents. Prepare documents according to each institution's exact checklist. Having said that, here's the general list of what you will almost always need. Passport, valid and with relevant pages. School leaving certificate, grades transcript or mark sheet, proof that your certificates allow higher education in your home country, if required. German language certificate, APS certificate if your country requires it. Certified translations, if your documents are not in German or English, and the institution requires translation. CV, if requested. Motivation letter, if requested. Completed application form, proof of application fee payment, if applicable, passport photo, if required, any institution-specific forms. The most common reason for application delay is not always missing document. It is the wrong format. Someone uploads a phone photo of their certificate instead of a certified copy. Someone sends an unofficial transcript when a certified one was required. Someone uses a free online translation instead of a certified translator. 30 seconds of careful reading the institution checklist could have prevented a 2-month delay in every one of those cases. Practical tool will be use the Excel shortlist sheet and add document status for each institution. Now let's talk about timing, and I want to start this timeline from June 2026 because that is a realistic starting point for serious 2027 planning. If you are watching this around May or June 2026, you are not too early. You are exactly where a smart student should be. For 2027, there are two main planning directions. Summer semester 2027, which usually start around April 2027, or winter semester 2027-28, usually start around October 2027. But here's the important part. Summer 27 and winter 27 are not just two dates. They are two different pressure levels. Summer 2027 is the urgent route. It is for students who already have strong German progress, document under control, and a clear target. Winter 27 is a safer planning route. It gives you more time, but only if you actually use that time properly. Also, not every Studienkolleg offer both intakes. Some may offer only winter, some may offer both. Some have deadlines much earlier than normal bachelor's applications. So do not build your plan around one universal deadline. Build it around your shortlist spreadsheet I just mentioned earlier. Let's start with summer semester 2027. If you want to start Studienkolleg in April 2027, I'll be honest. This path is possible, but it is not relaxed. This is your foundation and decision period. You should check. Do I need Studienkolleg or direct admission? Which bachelor's degree do I want? Which course do I need? Is my German plan realistic? Do I need APS, VPD, translation, or a certificate copies? Which Studienkollegs even offer summer intake? If by the end of June-July 2026 you still don't know your target's bachelor field, your required course, or whether you need Studienkolleg, summer semester becomes risky. July 26, now you build a shortlist, not 10 random names, a real shortlist. 3 to 5 strong options plus a few backup options. For each one, write application route, deadline, German level, documents, Aufnahmetest subjects, exam dates if available, and official source link. And I'm saving you time as I have already prepared that list, which is complete, and you really need to do very small effort and your Excel shortlist will be ready completely. August 26. This is your document and German checkpoint. By now, you should know whether you need a German certificate like B1 or B2 and whether you can realistically get it before the application deadline. You should also start downloading Aufnahmetest sample papers. Not in December, in August itself, because the entrance exam is not just grammar, it includes German plus maths, physics, business, biology, chemistry, or other subject depending on your course. This is the critical application window for many summer intake routes. Some institutions open or close summer application around this period. So if someone tells you summer deadline is January, relax. Don't blindly believe that. Some routes may be January, some may be October or November. Your shortlist spreadsheet decides your real deadline. This is the final deadline and entrance exam preparation phase. By now, your document should not be messy. Your German certificate should not be uncertain. Your application route should not be a mystery. Your main focus should be Aufnahmetest preparation, and you should be already practicing the exam. This period is the result. Visa, block account, insurance, and housing pressure zone. If you get admission or an invitation, you need to move fast. This is why you should understand block account, health insurance, visa appointment, and housing before the result comes. Prepare before admission and execute after admission. And if summer 2027 does not work out, don't collapse emotionally. You still have winter 2027. But then you must use the lessons properly. What failed? German level, document, wrong shortlist, Aufnahmetest, visa timing, or recognition issues. Fix the broken link before the next intake. Now let's talk about winter semester 2027-28. This is a safer and more realistic route for many students watching this video in mid-2026. And you have enough time to build the whole chain properly. This is the perfect time to begin. Not with panic, but with structure. Check your eligibility. Check target bachelor's field. Map the required course. Start or continue German seriously. Create your shortlist spreadsheet. Understand whether you are targeting University Studienkolleg, FH Studienkolleg, or both. This is your research and language building phase. You should reduce confusion. By August, you should know which course do I need, which public Studienkollegs offer it, which private options are worth checking, which cities are realistic for housing, what German level is required, what does the Aufnahmetest look like. This is also time to start subject vocabulary in German, because if you wait until 2027 to learn German maths or German business vocabulary, you are already late. Now you prepare the serious application foundation. Collect documents, check translation requirements, start APS if your country requires it. Plan your German certificate attempt. Download sample papers. Check official pages every few weeks. This is also where some students realize summer 2027 is too tight, and that is okay. A planned winter 27 attempt is better than a chaotic summer 27 failure. This is your readiness checkpoint. By this stage, you should aim to have your German exam plan completed or booked, your document collected, your shortlist narrowed, your application routes understood, your Aufnahmetest preparation active. If you are still only thinking about Germany in February 2027, winter 2027 becomes stressful. Some winter application windows can open early, so do not assume every winter applications open in June or ends in July. This is why your program shortlist spreadsheet matters. In March and April, you should begin checking every official page again for updated 2027 dates. This is a core winter application window for many institutions. May and June are not early. May and June are serious application months. This is where your application should be submitted and not merely started. And July is the final deadline pressure month for many winter routes. But you should not be starting in July. You should only be fixing small issues, checking missing document messages, and confirming exam invitation. If you discover in July that you need a certified translation, a VPD, or different application portal, or a missing German certificate, that can destroy your timeline. This is entrance exam and result phase for many winter routes. This is also when visa and housing pressure becomes real. So again, understand visa before results, execute quickly after the results. Winter semester starts, and that is not the end. This is the beginning of your Studienkolleg year. You still need to perform in class, prepare for FSP, and later apply for a bachelor degree. So if you're aiming for winter 2027, don't say I have more than 1 year. Say I have 1 year to build German, documents, eligibility clarity, application strategy, entrance exam readiness, visa planning, and housing backup. That is very different. Now let's talk about the entrance exam. This is where students who were well prepared on paper can still get stopped, because for most public Studienkollegs, uploading documents is only the first door. The Aufnahmetest is the real filter. According to the Studienkollegs Consortium, because there are more applicants than the places, many Studienkollegs allocate seats through a ranking based on the Aufnahmetest. Depending on the Studienkolleg and the course, the exam may test German comprehension and writing, mathematics, physics, economics and business thinking, biology or chemistry, or subject-specific reasoning. Some Studienkollegs test German and mathematics, while others may test only German or use a different structure. That is why you must check the exact exam page of the Studienkolleg. Also important, in some countries, certain Studienkollegs may conduct entrance exam locally, but normally students have to come to Germany and take the entrance exam at the Studienkolleg. Here's what it looks like the course. T-Kurs, CS Mathematics is almost always tested. Physics appears in many institutions. Instructions are in German. W-Kurs, German, maths and economics or business reasoning. Logic and structured thinking under time pressure. M-Kurs, biology, chemistry or maths depending on the Studienkolleg. Subject vocabulary in German is very critical. G-Kurs or S-Kurs, strong focus on German language ability and language-related reasoning. Please don't prepare only grammar exercises, and don't prepare maths only in the style of your home country exam. Prepare German language exam tasks, because the Aufnahmetest is not only asking, can you solve this maths problem? It is asking, can you read this problem in German, understand what is being asked and produce an answer in German under time pressure. Here's a realistic preparation plan. First, download sample papers from official Studienkolleg website where available. The Studienkolleg Consortium says many Studienkollegs publish Musterbeispiele or sample exams for the Aufnahmetest on their own website. These are your most accurate preparation materials. Second, build subject vocabulary, not random vocabulary, but exam vocabulary. You can screenshot all of these here and add them to what you'll be finding in your sample papers. Third, practice under actual time pressure. Set a timer. Solve under exam condition. Fourth, write solutions in German, not in your own language first and then translate. In German directly, because in the exam there is no time to translate. Fifth, don't ignore spoken and classroom German, because after you pass the entrance exam, you still have to survive the actual Studienkolleg course. The goal of your preparation is not to be perfect, it is to be prepared enough that the exam does not shock you. First of all, congratulations. Let's say you pass the entrance exam, you have your admission letter already, and you'll be asking, what does the actual Studienkolleg year look like? Studienkolleg typically lasts around 1 year, divided into 2 semesters. The Studienkolleg Consortium also explains that in exceptional cases, very strong students may be also able to shorten the Studienkolleg visit by 1 semester. And if the performance is not sufficient, semester can be repeated once. You study German and subject-specific content related to your track. T-Kurs, German, mathematics, physics, and other technical or scientific subjects depending on the curriculum. W-Kurs, German, mathematics, economics, business, and social science related content. M-Kurs, biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, and German depending on the curriculum. G or S-Kurs, German language at a deep academic level, literature, history, or language related subjects. But the real goal is not just knowledge, it is academic readiness in German. You will learn how German classrooms work. You will learn how to write academic arguments in German. You will learn how to prepare for exams the German way, which is often very different from what you used to do. You also learn how to analyze, explain, calculate, and present in the language that is not your first. This is why Studienkolleg is not a waste of time if you genuinely need it. Many students often resist it. 1 extra year before my bachelor's that feel like being left behind from my friends. But I want you to think about it differently. Students who enter a German bachelor's degree program unprepared, without the academic language, without the study habits, without the subject vocabulary, often struggle much more than students who went through Studienkolleg. Studienkolleg done seriously can protect you from that. And it is not the delay, it is the preparation that makes the rest of your academic life easy and successful. At the end of Studienkolleg, you take the Feststellungsprüfung, the FSP. This is your final assessment exam. If you pass, you receive a subject-specific entrance qualification for the German universities. Subject-specific. Again, this word matters. If you complete T-Kurs, you are not suddenly qualified for every possible bachelor's degree. Your FSP connects to your academic field as defined by the course you completed. And passing the FSP does not mean automatic bachelor's admission. After FSP, you still apply to bachelor's program. You still deal with the deadline. You still deal with grades-based admission for competitive programs. If a program has limited places and many strong applicants, your FSP alone does not reserve your seat. So keep in mind, Studienkollegs gives you the entrance qualification, but it does not give you guaranteed admission. Some students ask whether they can skip the Studienkolleg year entirely and just take the FSP externally. And it is a fair question. Let me explain when that makes sense and when it does not. External FSP means taking the Feststellungsprüfung without attending the full Studienkolleg course. It exists. It is possible in some cases, but I want to be honest with you about what it actually requires. External FSP is not an easier route. It is a different route that demands same or higher level of preparation without the structured support of Studienkolleg curriculum. You need strong academic German. You need strong subject knowledge across all tested areas. You need to understand the exam format, expectation, and academic standards of the specific institution offering the external FSP. For a student coming straight from school, still adapting to academic German and university level content, the full Studienkolleg course is usually the more realistic and more successful path. Now, let's talk about visa and money. If you are a non-EU student, you will generally need a student visa or a national visa for language course or higher education preparation to come to Germany for Studienkolleg. The block account. One of the most common financial requirements is a block account, a Sparkonto. This is a German bank account where you deposit a required amount of money. Each month during your studies, you can withdraw a fixed portion of it. It proves to the visa authorities that you can financially support yourself during your stay in Germany. As of 2026, the required amount is around 11,900 euros for 1 year. But I'm telling you this number is for reference only. Do not use today's number for your 2026 visa application without rechecking. The required amount is reviewed and can change by the government. The visa process generally requires proof of admission or invitation letter from Studienkolleg, block account proof or accepted proof of financing, valid passport, health insurance, academic documents, language certificate, application forms and photos, and application fee. Check your local German embassy or consulate website for the exact list and appointment procedure. Appointment availability varies significantly by country. In some countries, appointment waiting time are several weeks or months. Housing in Germany. I want to be honest because this is where many students get a shock after arrival. In large cities and university towns does not have unlimited affordable housing just waiting for international students. Cities like Berlin, Munich, Hamburg, Frankfurt, Heidelberg, Stuttgart, Darmstadt, Cologne, and many university towns have real competition for student housing. Student dormitories, Studentenwohnheim, often have waiting list. Private rooms in shared flats, Wohngemeinschaften or WGs can take weeks to find, and temporary accommodation costs much money. When you shortlist Studienkollegs, include housing in your evaluation. What is the rent level in that city? Is there a student dorm connected to the institution? And what is the waiting list situation? Is temporary accommodation possible while you search? How far is the Studienkolleg from the affordable areas? What is the public transport situation? I'm not saying this to discourage you. Germany is manageable. Students arrive every semester and find housing. But the students who find housing calmly are the ones who started researching early. The students who struggle are the ones who started researching after their visa was approved. So start early. Research cities honestly. Build a backup plan. Next, let's talk about the full cost picture. Public Studienkolleg is usually tuition free, but tuition free does not mean Germany is free. Here's what you actually need to budget. Semester contribution, usually a few €100 per semester. Rent, this is your biggest expense and varies hugely by city. Food, roughly 200 to 300 per month depending on habits. Health insurance required, usually around 100 to 120 euros per month for students, depending on the provider and rules. Transportation, sometimes included partly through the semester contribution or student ticket system. Books and study materials, application and APS fees if applicable, visa and embassy fees, block account, the money is yours but locked for monthly withdrawal, travel costs from your home country, and emergency reserves. Private Studienkollegs can charge tuition fees. The range varies significantly from a few thousand euros to much higher depending on the institution. Factor this in when comparing options. And if you're thinking, I'll just work part-time from the start to cover cost, please understand few things. First, according to the Studienkollegs Consortium, students are usually not allowed to work during the semester while attending Studienkolleg. Second, your visa status and resident permit rules also matter, so always verify your own legal situation. Third, Studienkolleg is academically demanding, especially in the first semester. Students who try to work significant hours in their first months often find the studies suffering. So build a realistic financial plan that does not depend on working from day one. I'm not going to exaggerate, I'm not going to say Germany is becoming impossible. That is not true. But I'm also not going to pretend nothing is changing. The clear trend is Germany is becoming increasingly attractive for international students. More students are applying every cycle. Public routes can become more competitive. Some institutions are updating their criteria, like the 70% class 12th requirement for Indian students on the Studienkolleg pathway. Application systems are becoming more specific. More institutions are defining their own portals, deadlines, language levels, and exact document requirements. What this means practically, generic advice, just apply to Studienkolleg, is becoming less and less useful. Students who operate on assumptions are increasingly getting caught by the specific rules. But here's why this is actually good news for you. You don't need to be wealthy. You don't need to know everything from day one. You don't need perfect grades. You need to do what most students don't. Stop guessing. Build a verified plan. Start earlier than feels necessary. The 2027 advantage goes to students who are precise, not just motivated. And if you avoid these, you are already significantly ahead. Mistake 1. Choosing the wrong Studienkolleg course. You want engineering, but you end up in W-Kurs. Your FSP later does not match your bachelor's subject. That can cost a year. Mistake 2. Thinking a German language certificate equals real German readiness. The certificate gets you through the application. Your actual ability gets you through the entrance exam and the classroom. These are two different things. Mistake 3. Applying through the wrong portal. Using Uni-assist when direct application is required, or missing a Studienkolleg specific application process entirely. Always check the exact application route for each institution. Fourth, treating the general deadline as your planning date. For many Studienkolleg routes, your real preparation and document windows close much earlier than the formal deadline. Mistake 5. Underestimating the Aufnahmetest. Not preparing subject vocabulary in German, not practicing under time pressure, treating it like a formality when it is actually the main filter. Next, treating VPD as always required or never required. It is case specific. Check the application page for each institution. 7. Applying to only one Studienkolleg. Seats are competitive. Build a realistic shortlist of 3 to 5 institutions. Mistake 8. Shortlisting by city instead of pathway. Berlin sounds attractive, Munich sounds attractive, Frankfurt sounds attractive. But if the Studienkolleg does not offer your course, the city does not matter. Which means pathway first, city second. Next, paying private Studienkolleg fees before verifying recognition. Ask for names of public universities that have accepted their graduates, not vague assurance, names. 10. Thinking FSP means your bachelor's seat is reserved. FSP gives you the qualification to apply. Bachelor's admission has its own process, deadline, and competition. Let me give you a clean action plan. Step 1. Write down your country and school qualification. Step 2. Check whether your qualification maps to your direct admission, Studienkolleg, or something else. Use Uni-assist orientation, Anna-Bin, and the institution's official page. Step 3. Choose your target bachelor's field. Be specific, not engineering, but mechanical engineering or computer science. Step 4. Map that field to the correct Studienkolleg course. When in doubt, check what the target universities say about course requirement for that subject. Step 5. Shortlist 3 to 5 Studienkollegs offering that course. Public first, private only with verified recognition. Step 6. For each one, fill your spreadsheet. Application portal, deadline, German level, documents, entrance exam details, VPD, APS, fees, housing risk, and next section. Step 7. Start German preparation immediately. Build subject vocabulary alongside grammar. Step 8. Begin Aufnahmetest preparation with the official sample papers. Set time limits, write in German. Step 9. Collect and verify documents early. Read each institution checklist carefully. Step 10. Understand the visa process, block account, health insurance, and housing. Don't wait for admission to start understanding these. Step 11. After Studienkolleg, prepare for FSP and then the bachelor's application. That process has its own deadline and its own competition. That is a full chain. Let's close with everything important one more time. Studienkolleg is not a bachelor's degree. It is a bridge before bachelor's. You need it only if your school qualification does not directly qualify you for German university admission. Your target bachelor subject decide your Studienkolleg course. T, M, W, G, and S are not random labels. They are academic lanes with different subjects, different exam content, and different future pathways. German is not optional. Studienkolleg is taught in German, and your actual German ability matters more than just your certificate level. The application route is institution specific. Uni-assist, university portal, or direct Studienkolleg application, check exactly which one applies to you. VPD is case specific. APS is country specific. Check each institution and write your country requirements individually. Public Studienkollegs are competitive. Private Studienkollegs require verified recognition before payments. Shortlisting should start with your target bachelor's, required course, institution type, application route, and deadline, not with city. The Aufnahmetest is often the real filter, not the document submission. Summer 27 requires action from mid-May or June 2026. Winter 2027 allows more preparation time, but it is not an excuse to move slowly. After Studienkolleg, you still need to pass the FSP and apply for your bachelor's. Now, before you close the video, I want you to do 3 things. First, save this video. Not just like it, save it also. You will need to come back to specific section at different points in your process. The document section before you apply, the shortlist section when you compare universities, the Aufnahmetest section before you prepare, the visa section after the admission. Second, download the free Studienkolleg 2027 shortlist and timeline Excel template. Use it to track your target Studienkolleg course, deadline, application route, German level, Aufnahmetest subjects, VPD or APS status, or housing risk, and your next action. Don't keep this process in your head, put in your system. Third, comment your situation. Write 3 things: your country, your school subjects or streams, the bachelor's degree you want to study in Germany. I will read these and guide you on what your most important next step is: eligibility check, course selection, German level, application route, shortlisting, or entrance exam. Let's figure it out together. And if you have a friend also planning Germany after school who is still searching through random reels and getting confused, send them this video directly. Tell them, watch this before you do anything else. You might genuinely save them next 6 months of confusion. In the next video, I can go deeper on individual topics: T-Kurs preparation, W-Kurs, M-Kurs, Aufnahmetest maths and German, public versus private Studienkolleg in detail. Just let me know in the comments. Enjoy. Auf Wiedersehen.